Hey leaders, Rob Campbell back with you. I'm down here in my wife's art studio, and big news coming up. She's announcing an artist retreat, which will begin in September. She'll start posting that on her website on the 1st of August, taking applications for those that want to come down and be a part of Topsail Island, be inspired, be a part of a community of artists, and grow as an artist in this artist retreat. So I invite you to have a look at it on her website, ravenworkstudio.net. Have a look at that thing. You can see her art, which is on that website, and all the stuff behind me and what she's created. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, let's get to the point of today's video. Measuring effectiveness over performance. I had a great friend of mine, civilian, when I was in a training unit in the Army, help me understand better measuring effects over performance. Really, really important. You have to measure both, but I've seen too many organizations be very performance focused. Even the Army is guilty of this versus effects. So we killed so many enemy, or we shot so many artillery rounds, or we spent the money on the marketing campaign, or we've conducted all of our annual evaluations in our organizations, or we've hired 4 people against the positions we were looking at. All measures of performance. Maybe you hired the wrong people. Maybe you haven't won the war. Maybe you haven't defeated the enemy. Maybe the marketing campaign sucked. Maybe the counseling program sucked. This gets to effects and what it is you're trying to achieve. If you have a counseling or mentoring program in your organization, then the effect you're trying to achieve are people that are better counseled and better guided in terms of their performance and their growth in the organization. That's the effect. It's harder to measure, no question about it. It is harder to measure, and that's why a lot of times it gets brushed aside or ignored, or we just don't put a lot of energy into measuring effects, and things limp along, and they don't really achieve the effects that we're trying to achieve. So, measuring performance, task was complete. Measuring effects, you achieve the effects you set out to. Decrease employee turnover, lots of different things. How do you do that? Well, I talk about this in the last chapter of my book, second to last chapter of my book, about how you measure effects, because easy to say, difficult to put into place. I don't think so. I think it's kind of easy, actually. Here's a few things you can do. The first is a survey. Don't make it a 30-question survey and give it to people on Friday afternoon. Please don't do that. Short survey, 5-8 questions that get to what it is you're looking for. Do you want to know if the employees feel that they have a voice in the organization? Do you want to know if the people in your organization feel that they're being developed and somebody's listening to and catering to their needs? Do you want to get a sense of why people are leaving the organization at high rates? Do a survey, craft some questions, get a team together, figure out what questions you want to ask, and think about what results or what answers you might get. Do that with a subpopulation of your organization. Gather the feedback, tally it up, and see what the results are. It'll tell you something pretty amazing. Productivity indicators certainly are measures of effectiveness. If you're able to meet your profit margins and increase productivity, if your employee turnover goes down, that's another effectiveness measure. I would go deeper into it. If your turnover goes down, why'd that happen? Ask those why questions a lot in terms of measuring effectiveness. Sensing sessions. I talk about this in the book, and I did a lot of them with the subpopulations in my organization where I'd pull them together and I'd just be quiet and listen and let them talk about what's going on in the organization. It really gave me a great opportunity to hear from those different populations on my team and then really answer some concerns from a senior leader's perspective and give them a sense of why things were the way they were. Really important. And the last thing, just get up and walk around and talk to people. Break down some of those barriers. Create those safe environments. I talk about that in the book too. Create those safe environments where people are free to give you feedback on things that you're doing. Really important. Measure effects over performance. I really believe in that. You want some more on this? Pick up a copy of my book. It's Personal, Not Personnel, Leadership Lessons for the Battlefield and the Boardroom. And I talk about how to measure effects over performance in your organization. Thanks for listening. Make it personal.